When I was 21, 22, I was horrified by the thought that everything I held dear to me was going to rip from my hands by death. I had no idea where I came from, what our origins are. I didn't know what was going to happen after I died, didn't know why I was going to die. I was as lost as you could get, incredibly happy with every material possession you could want, beautiful wife, my own house, my own business. The night I became a Christian, I found out why we die, because we've sinned against God. I was transformed in an instant. And everything looked different. The sky looked different. The clouds looked different. The trees raised their hands in praise to God. The flowers opened their faces to His glory. The birds sang His praises. And I was astounded at the transformation. About a year after I got saved, I was sitting on a bus, and I looked at everyone sort of bouncing around on the bus and thought, man, I'd just like to stand up and preach to these people. But I think the bus would immediately stop, and the bus driver and all the people would throw me off. So I just said in my heart, oh God, I wish there was somewhere where I could stand up and preach. 2 weeks later, our city of Christchurch in New Zealand, legalized public speaking in the heart of the city. It was a place called the Square. They set it aside for public speaking, and I thought, wow, what an answer to prayer. Horrors. And so I avoided the newspapers. I avoided anything to do with that. I was just mortified. But I did it, and then I did it again. And for the first 3 months, I was sick to the stomach. Every day I'd go in there. And I kind of just got used to it and learned to control my fears, and did that almost every day for 12 years. Earlier on, a gentleman had come into my surf shop, a 91-year-old Presbyterian minister, and we became friends, a long-haired hippie and a 91-year-old Presbyterian minister in a three-piece suit. We befriended each other and we became brothers in Christ. It was wonderful. One day he insisted on getting me a machine that would print newsletters or bulletins for the church. He insisted on buying me one. I don't know why, so I just wrote a tract called Sin Not Skin. It was about how racism isn't anything to do with skin, it's to do with sin. And some guy saw it, he wanted 5,000. So I had to crank off 5,000 of them, build up my muscle on one side. That was the beginning of our tract ministry, and since that time we have sold something like 170 million gospel tracts. And I look back and say, what a wonderful thing. God moved that old minister to buy me that machine to start me in the tract ministry. I've got a television program that goes to 123 countries. It's called The Way of the Master. Kirk Cameron and I co-host. It's on 52 networks. It's about evangelism. And it leaves Kirk and I shaking our heads saying, what a wonderful thing, because God has blessed this, and a program that's about evangelism has won 7 awards. We talk to people on the streets, people with mohawks and people with earrings, men with big earrings, and strange-looking people, normal-looking people, businessmen on planes in the streets, and we ask them the most difficult questions you could ever ask anybody. And people think, oh, you're very brave. No, I'm not. I'm fearful. Every time I get up to open air preach, I'm nervous. But you know what nerves do to me? They weaken my knees, and the safest place for a Christian to be is on his knees. If I had great eloquence and tremendous ability, I wouldn't need God's help. I wouldn't pray because I've got natural ability. But because I'm weak, that weakness and that fear makes me call upon the Lord. You know, I don't know if you've ever had the experience of you're going to dive into a cold swimming pool, it's not heated, and as you stand there, the longer you leave it, the colder it looks. You just got to take a grip of yourself and say, okay, I'm going to do this, and dive in, and your flesh will hurt for about 2 or 3 seconds, and then it will adjust automatically to the cold water. And so it comes from that mentality of just do it. You know, just approach people. Don't listen to your fears. If I listened to my fears, I wouldn't do anything. If I waited for the moving of the Spirit, I wouldn't do anything. God gave me everlasting life, and I'm so grateful. The word grateful doesn't cut the mustard for me. I don't know how to express to God how grateful I am. So what I can't put in words, I put in works. I said, Lord, I'm so grateful. I'm going to live for you. And I look back on my life and say, Lord, thank you for giving me that revelation when I was 22. Teach me to number my days that I might apply my heart to wisdom. And when you lay your head on your pillow at night, there'll be a sense of satisfaction that you tapped into the eternal. You didn't live a selfish existence that day. You reached out to the lost. You denied yourself. You showed God that you love Him for the cross by putting works to your faith. because there's no greater satisfaction in doing that. There's no greater thing to do than to live for the Lord and to let your words influence people on how they can find everlasting life.